next for...
Hey, this is Todd Clark, Executive Director of TIVA, Television Internet Video Association, and we are down at the video show, which is at the DC Convention Center right here in downtown DC. Next 2 days, December 4th and 5th, we are live streaming from the live streaming booth of the video show and TIVA. And it's a chance for us to talk to some of the exhibitors and movers and shakers who are part of the video show. And I'm talking to one right now who I recognize from last year, Mr. John Voorhuis from EEG Video. So tell me, John, what is EEG Video, and is it more than captioning, and is captioning part of it?
Sure, yes. We are primarily a live caption solution provider. It's really great to be here in DC again this year for the video show. EEG provides live closed captioning and data insertion solutions. For all types of customers, including government. It's something that we're very focused on, as well as live broadcasters, streaming content creators, corporate applications, really the whole gamut of anyone who has content that they would like to make accessible to those with hearing impairments, or in situations where the benefit of audio might not be available.
So have you found you are being responsive in new ways, or do you have a traditional what I would call service provision role? In other words, how flexible do you feel like you're becoming to changing markets?
Sure, absolutely. We're an extremely nimble company. We were actually founded in the early 1980s, going on nearly 40 years ago, over 35 years ago, as Electrical Engineering Group. And our focus has always been live closed captioning. We actually helped develop the North American 608 closed caption data standard in conjunction with PBS. That subsequently evolved into the 708 standard you see for HD. We've always focused on the encoding of live caption. So actually taking a video feed, extracting the audio, sending it to a caption writer, and then receiving that data and injecting that into video. So
how quickly can that process happen?
Sure. Typically the process like that EEG takes part in with the actual audio extraction and encoding, it's measured in milliseconds, about 200 to 300. But regardless of how you're sourcing your caption data, be it with something like speech recognition or a live captioner, there's what's known as a transcription delay.
Yeah.
So the delay it takes for either the machine to process the audio, generate the captions, or a person to type that out.
So I'm just curious if you have a professional or personal preference for a manual actual transcriber versus the voice recognition software. Is voice recognition? I guess the other hidden question is how reliable is voice recognition software becoming?
Sure. It's definitely improving constantly, right, whereas the human element is relatively static. But it's still not appropriate for every situation. Right now, it's primarily used, to supplement live captioners, or in situations where a live captioner might not be available, cost effective.
Right.
The only way for this technology to continue to improve is to continue to use it. It's also very good for post-production applications where you can go in and correct any errors that might occur. So, live captioners are still the gold standard, right, for many applications.
Right.
But, just like speech recognition, there's varying degrees of accuracy there.
It just seems like there's always going to be a role for a real transcriber. Just because when I first got a phone that had the voice recognition, I played around with sort of saying gibberish just to see what would come out. But even when I say something intentional, I still get gibberish back.
Sure.
Which is so frustrating.
Sure. I think that kind of from where we stand, looking at the horizon 5 years out, that's absolutely the case.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to see like a complete displacement, or like really a meaningful displacement of live captioners kind of in that horizon. Right. But beyond that, the rate at which technology is improving, who's to say? Because you mentioned, when you first got voice recognition on your smartphone. 10, 12 years ago, smartphones weren't really a thing. We were at the first iPhone, I think, in 2007. So you just see this like parabolic curve in terms of technology advancement. So it's really hard to predict, when exactly this is going to become the gold standard.
Yeah.
At this point, it can be very useful in situations where, as I said, there's not a live captioner, available. It can be used to supplement live captioners for like things like breaking news, weather, things like that. Or again, as I said, in situations, where a live captioner might not be cost effective. You have a whole lot of, local communities, things like that, who really would like to caption, but they simply don't have the budget for human captioners. And that's where a quality ASR solution like our Lexi can come in and provide that captioning.
So you are providing not just the equipment, right? But you're a full service. If someone comes to you and says, I don't know, it probably doesn't matter where you're located, because someone can come to you, and as long as you're getting the feed, right, and you're outputting the transcription, that can all happen in a digital highway.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's done via our ICAP system, which is sending the audio over a LAN connection through a relay server to a human captioner, and then returning that back along that same pathway to the encoder where the caption data is embedded. We also have fully virtual solutions for streaming, where we actually directly encode the RTMP stream as opposed to the SDI video, where there's no hardware required for captioning.
So how do you respond to diverse languages? I mean, I'm sure you're not English only.
Sure. Well, yeah, we can encode
Deutsch,
any type of language.
Español,
Yeah.
Greek.
Sure. We can encode any type of language. What the restriction that we really most frequently run into is the decoding aspect. So with some non-Latin character types, it becomes a challenge finding like a web player or a TV set that will decode something, for example, like Greek. But we can encode all character types. We also have a new product that's come out, ICAP Translate, where it works for, I think, English, French, Spanish, German,
to go back and forth between.
And you can go Danish, Italian,
wow.
And there's about 8. I'm not sure how many I just mentioned there. I think 7. But, and you can go back and forth between any of those. So you source the caption data in the first language, like Italian, like through, either an ASR solution,
right,
or through a traditional captioner. And then with our ICAP Translate feature, it analyzes that caption text and looks at the entire sentence for context, for proper grammar, and outputs that second language of caption. And it's great because with our flagship hardware encoder, you can encode in 2 languages if you have those 2 sources. So
I bet people did not know that. I mean, that is something. So do you feel like you guys are distinguished in the field, like you are offering sort of one-of-a-kind services?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I think we're, I'd like to think that we're clearly the leader in the field. It's good to see so many other people interested in closed captioning and kind of fulfilling their niches, because it helps evangelize the services, the technology, and it has people working with it and creating accessibility. So in that sense, of course, a rising tide raises all ships.
Exactly. So how do people find you? And let's start there. So how do people find you?
You can go to www.eegenT.com. So eegenterprises.com, except the abbreviation for enterprise is ENT.
Gotcha. And I guess I'm curious about this. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but is there a transcribing or coding experience that stands out for you because it was so surprising or interesting, or it exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, there's been a lot of government agencies who we've worked with, that have been, really interesting to work with. We do a lot with like data insertion and data decoding, which is used in like some submersible exploration,
wow,
which is very interesting. We've also done some things for some pretty large government organizations, international ones.
So those technical terms and whatnot, you keeping up with all or even in this city, which is all about acronyms, like the DOD and the ARP of the TLT.
Sure.
You're just knowing all that. It's not a word, it's a...
So that's something we address with our custom topic models, where with acronyms you can actually you can spell them out phonetically and have them display as you want them to appear.
Right.
So ARP, you would actually, there's 3 ways to configure custom topic models with our speech recognition. You can have a web URL where it just crawls that content and it automatically updates on a weekly basis. You can schedule queues, or you can manually queue to update sooner. We also allow you to upload lists of places and terms, or
right,
just any words you'd like recognized. And finally, can phonetically spell out things. So back to ARP, the American Association of Retired Peoples, you could just write ARP and phonetically spell out how it's pronounced and then configure it to display as AARP.
Right.
So that's a really powerful feature in terms of having accurate speech recognition. And it empowers the user to really make it accurate for their specific brand of content.
But it's so crucial because we're living in a city, like I say, and it's true in every industry, where the default kind of community language, everyone gets it, but you step outside and no one knows what the heck you're talking about. Your system can be set up to recognize it and get it accurate right down the line.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful technology, and it's getting better on really every day.
Excellent. So where do people find you here at the video show? What's your show?
We're at booth number 406.
406, and you're here from today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow.
Okay. So are you running any specials or
no?
Things like
there's no specials for the show. Kind of another product that we're really excited about that we've just released is our Lexi Local, which kind of has some specific applications, for government and the others with sensitive content, such as like corporate communications, which our cloud-based Lexi service enables you to go. You access Lexi through a LAN connection going up to the web. A lot of people have no cloud policies, which is something that we're very cognizant and sensitive to. So we introduced Lexi Local, which enables you to just connect a second box to your encoder and caption with speech recognition in that way. At the same time, the live captioners aren't left out because we've introduced iCap Local, our flagship protocol for connecting to live captioners, and a localized version of that doesn't require you going outside to the internet.
Well, I'm going to suggest a name change, which is EEG Solutions, because it seems like you guys have come up with a solution for every possible configuration and challenge that's out there.
That's what we try to do. I'll definitely put that in the suggestion box.
Put that in the suggestion box.
Thanks so much, Todd.
Okay, hold on one second. Come on down to the video show here at the Convention Center, December 4th and 5th. We've got a couple of hours left for today, many hours for tomorrow. New interviews are coming up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back.